You spend $1,000 on a top-of-the-line 4K security camera system, mount it, and assume your property is locked down tight. Then a break-in happens. You hand the footage over, and the police tell you the video is completely useless. There is a massive gap between capturing blurry proof that someone walked across your lawn and capturing the specific, identifiable forensic evidence required to actually catch them. The root cause of this failure is almost always a physical placement problem rather than a hardware defect. This chart maps true security coverage. The horizontal axis is hardware quality. The vertical axis is placement strategy. Expensive cameras without good placement land in the bottom right, a false sense of security. Pair quality hardware with strategic placement to reach the top right, delivering actionable evidence. Your camera's 4K resolution is entirely irrelevant if its physical position makes it impossible for law enforcement to extract a license plate or clear facial data. To fix this, we have to look at the most vulnerable point on your property, the main entrance. This blueprint highlights exactly how criminals operate. Over 34% of all intruders walk straight through the front door. Homeowners know this, so they naturally want to protect their investment by mounting their cameras as high up as possible to prevent anyone from tampering with them. The problem with a 15-foot camera angle is that you only capture the tops of baseball caps and hoodies. Down at 8 feet, you capture the specific facial geometry law enforcement actually needs. Mounting the lens between 7 and 9 feet off the ground perfectly threads the needle. It keeps the hardware out of casual reach while maintaining a direct line of sight to an intruder's face. But the front door introduces another major hurdle: lighting. A covered porch is often deeply shaded, while the street behind it is bathed in bright sunlight. A standard camera lens will automatically adjust to that bright background street. As a result, anyone standing on your porch turns into a completely unidentifiable dark silhouette. To balance that extreme light contrast, the camera covering your front door requires wide dynamic range, or WDR, technology. It exposes the shadows and reveals the face. A front door camera is a wasted investment unless you place it at that 7 to 9 foot mark and ensure it has the WDR capabilities to handle the glare. While the front door gets the most traffic, secondary entrances like back doors, side alleys, and garage paths are where intruders actually want to work. Looking back at our blueprint, we see that roughly 22% of break-ins occur through these rear and side access points. The challenge here is the environment. These areas are deliberately shielded from street lamps and hidden behind fencing or landscaping so neighbors can't see what's happening. Cameras in these zones require high-performance infrared night vision. Pairing them with motion sensor floodlights takes away the intruder's cover of darkness and dramatically improves the contrast of your footage. If an intruder does manage to breach those exterior doors, your strategy has to immediately shift inside the building. People often mount indoor cameras in the corners of large, wide-open living rooms. Intruders know this, and they will simply hug the walls to skirt the edges of your field of view. Instead, use what security experts call the choke point strategy. Place your interior cameras strictly in hallways and staircases. An intruder has to walk through these narrow spaces to move through the house, giving you guaranteed, controlled footage. There are strict legal and ethical limitations here. Cameras should never point into bathrooms, into private bedrooms, or at your neighbor's property. Your secondary and interior cameras only deliver results when they force an intruder into a narrow, well-lit field of view, while respecting legal privacy lines. Even with perfect placement, there is a serious flaw in treating a camera system as your entire security plan. A camera is a passive tool. It observes and records, but it will not physically stop someone from kicking in your door. Professional security relies on a defense-in-depth model of overlapping layers. The foundation is Layer 1, perimeter hardening, like fences. Layer 2 is active detection, like alarms. These physically repel attacks. Your CCTV system sits at Layer 3, documenting the moment outer layers fail. To stop a threat in its tracks, you need physical barriers and active alerts in place long before an intruder ever reaches the camera's lens. If you deploy a high-end camera network without investing in sturdy locks, perimeter fences, or a burglar alarm, you are ultimately just paying for the privilege of watching yourself get robbed. Security budgets and property sizes vary, so knowing exactly what hardware to buy requires an honest assessment of your specific needs. This matrix breaks down deployment into two distinct profiles: the budget-conscious minimalist on the left and the high-net-worth or commercial optimizer on the right. If you are taking the minimalist approach, your budget is tight. You must focus your resources strictly on the two highest-risk entry points, mounting one camera at the front door and one at the back door, both at that crucial 7 to 9 foot height. You will allocate your money to make sure the front camera has wide dynamic range to cut through the porch glare, and the back camera has strong infrared night vision for the shadows. This highly focused two-camera setup covers over 56% of all break-in vectors without wasting a single dollar on low-priority zones. If you are managing an estate, a commercial warehouse, or a high-value target, you move into the optimizer profile. Here, the requirements expand. You need varifocal lenses to cover long driveways without blind spots, AI analytics to track unverified vehicles, and dedicated choke point cameras monitoring your server racks and safe rooms. The optimizer setup goes beyond observation. It is required to integrate your cameras directly with Layer 1 access controls, like biometric scanners and video interphones, ensuring every entry is verified. When these layers work together, the result is a seamlessly secure environment that actively deters criminals before they cross your property line.